Let record. Okay. I don't even know what day it is. August 2nd, Team Cup month, and happy Lift More launch for customers. Who's doing Lift More? Have hands. Oh my
Oh,
God.
I am.
Is anyone else dying? Oh my God. Like week one, I made the most horrid faces. It was fun to put it into a reel. Okay.
It'll get better. I'm in week 3 now. It'll get better. You'll get used to the pace and all the
Okay.
things.
Yes, that's what I think. And I feel like most programs, like that first week, you're kind of just figuring out the trainer and the routine. And I yelled at him a lot. Oh, but I think this one is gonna give some results. Like by the faces I'm making, holy man, I'm excited to see. Okay. Darn, why are you being so slow? Okay, so I've been doing these Power 45s. I don't know why, just to show that you guys can get your vitals done in even less than an hour if you're super intentional. So you guys can feel free to follow along with this. What I am going to do is, I mentioned it before, I actually have a list of 30 that I made with my Team Cup team. So I'm really going to go through and have intentional conversations with the 30 people on here and not do everything. So it is up to you. You can follow it. I'm going to set timers to keep us on track with our activities. If you are not following the slides, I would love to know what you're doing. And we can get to that in a second. So I did one of these recently, and I was talking about what moves the needle forward, just to kind of prep and before we begin, especially for some of us that are newer. But I don't know if you've heard it, but I feel like all these coaches are like, do the activities that move the needle forward. And I was always like, what is it? Like I'm searching and digging for the answer to like figure out what is going to help build my business. And I really broke it down based on the vital behaviors and what I think moves that needle. And really, it's this tracker and breaking it down into these 4 categories and doing them in tandem all of the time in some way, shape, or form. So, your journey and showing up on social media. This is important because it builds trust in your storefront. Like, if you don't have a storefront, you're having conversations with people, they go to your profile, and if they don't see anything but pictures of your kids and your dogs or like memes, they're not going to make the connection between what you're inviting to or what you're doing. You have to show up on your social media, and it bridges that gap in those conversations so much more. Intentionally expanding, connecting, inviting, and following up. This is what builds your income. If you are not having conversations, your income's going to reflect that. So when people say like those IPAs and those income producing activities, that's really from having conversations. I notice when I'm not having conversations and I am not very intentionally inviting and doing that, my income starts to dip. And I think I just mentioned that on a call yesterday where I don't have a set number per week. I don't have I need to do this. But I do know by now, being 3.5 years in, like I can tell by my income and my success club numbers, like, okay, like I need to have more conversations because this is dipping low. Or if there's a launch coming, okay, I need to have more conversations and really up my game and make a list of 30 and go through it and then make another whatever. Like that's just how I work. It works in my brain. But whatever it is, conversations helps build your income because you need to talk to people in order to get them to join. Um, Running groups and ongoing support. So we're not just signing people up and then whoop, disappearing. This builds your lifers, your coaches, potential coaches, and retention in your business. And retention is amazing, especially for people that stick around for additional income or once they become PCs and join your downline. You, at least how I've built my business, like my lifers and my coaches come from people that love the groups and the service that I provide outside of Beachbody. So that's why it's really important to, once people sign up, know that like that is the beginning of their journey and you are there to love and support them. So do not like skip that part. And then the last part, personal development, that builds you and your confidence. And that is huge. If you're not doing personal development, like you gotta find a way, whether you're reading 5 minutes a day, listening to podcasts. I am a big, like, I've got something going almost all the time, whether it's a podcast or audiobook or something because that just works for me with these small kids and children running around everywhere. But that builds you, which helps you show up in a more confident manner. So when you sit down and you're getting ready to have these conversations and invite and connect, you feel that confidence and it just keeps going in this circle. So with that, we've got, I think, 4 things. The first thing is adding value to your social media. So we're going to take about 5 minutes. If you guys have already made a post today, great. If you haven't, you can take this 5 minutes to make a post, but try to think about like how you can add some value, whether it's something you ate today that was really yummy, maybe find the link for it, or maybe it's your shirt you're wearing, although I'm always wearing like black and white. I don't know, like something. Figure out a way that you can add value to build trust with your audience, or you can even talk in your stories. I think I'm actually going to talk in my stories. So feel free to like turn off your camera if it's embarrassing, but I find that the more I talk, the more trust I build. So we will go ahead, set a timer for 5 minutes and get going.
Hey, Brooke, do you mind if I ask you a question?
Please, I love questions.
Great.
Sister,
I love asking questions and I love answers, so that's perfect.
love it.
So, for example, so yesterday I did a post, and I rarely. I'm now transitioning from kind of doing my normal. Sorry, I'm outside and there's an airplane coming over. I normally do a lot of different posts, and I do a lot of like spiritual videos and things like that. But every blue moon I do one of my my fitness journey, and so I did one yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, but so obviously it got a lot of likes, it got a lot of comments and all, because just from people that I've known for years, from
For
college.
sure.
And so on. How do you transition the like, hey, listen, I appreciate you liking it, and I appreciate that you're commenting on, hey, you look terrific, or hey, you look awesome, whatever. How do you transition that into, hey, by the way, if you're interested in how I've been achieving that, DM me, or like, how do you transition just somebody liking it and making a courteous comment into a potential customer / coach?
Yes, that's a really good question. I actually do have a slide in here coming up where I have samples of actual like verbiage that I've used to transition from like posts, stories. There might be another one on there. I can't remember, but I have like a couple templates. And I'm very like, I use a template, but I kind of go by like the relationship and if we've talked before. But for people that are liking your posts, even if it's courteous, like that to me is a signal like, this is my business now. You're in my store. I am going to offer it to you because I know how it can change your life, or I am going to begin a conversation with you. So I get in their inbox in some way, shape, or form. If they're liking my stuff, I'm in their inbox. It's not always an invite right away. It's not always like a, hey, would you join me? Sometimes it's a thank you. How have you been? Sometimes it is a straight up invite. If they've been liking for a long time, I'm like, okay, like super curious if you'd like to learn more. And I kind of go from there. If that's helpful. And then in a couple minutes, I do have some templates that can maybe kind of help with that.
Gotcha. Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I think the main thing is like get in the inbox. That's my slide in the DMs. Okay. You guys are doing awesome. I'm going to talk in my stories quick and then we can keep going. And please keep asking questions. If anything comes up and you're like, what? Like, that's what we're here for. All right. So we're going to keep going. If you guys want to wrap up what you have, I'm going to set my timer now for 10 minutes and we're going to focus on expanding your network. I gave some examples of how you can expand your network. Facebook, Instagram, they're slightly different, but kind of similar. Instagram, you're going to more pages. I really like small local pages because then you're finding local people. And Facebook is the same. I'm usually adding like friends of friends or pages that I'm active in. There's like a couple communities that I'll post and share in. So I'll go through and like add some people sometimes, or just recently we have a 2 groups for my daughters for like their graduating class with their elementary school. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. I mean, a little nerve-wracking. I'm gonna see these moms forever. But like, I was like, you know what? Like I just started adding them and we were talking about who our kids have for teachers next year. Like that counts as expanding your network. So however you want to do this, take 10 minutes. I am gonna go straight into my list of the invites that I have. And then when we're done, we'll keep moving on. Alexa, pause. Sorry if I set off anybody's. I was listening to some music. Krista, I love that. I'm in a local moms group and felt overwhelmed with all the posts. So I've created my own niche post about gymnastic classes for toddlers. And I'm hoping to add and privately message whoever likes and comments. Good idea and saves time. Yes, this is such a good way to connect with people. Whenever I have something going on in my life, I find the groups that I posted in. Like I'm like, hey, like my daughter's looking for acting classes, which she really is. And I'll ask for recommendations, and like thousands of people will comment, and just go through and kind of have some conversations with people and see where it goes from there. My dad is sending me a bunch of stuff. So we'll keep moving on. Hector, maybe this will help you too. This is a little bit more about like intentionally connecting with people within your network, maybe some new people that are liking posts. So I have like new followers, like on Instagram. And I'm actually going to pause my inviting to do this because I do have some new followers. Like when I get new people, you can see if it's like this person is not a real account. I'm just going to remove them right away. I will go through here and I will just say hi to new people that are following me, and I'll say like, I hope it's okay, I follow you back. I'll see if they're active. I'll maybe go like a couple posts, comment on one. I'm not always good at this, but I try to end with a question because people naturally want to respond to questions when we ask about them. So I do my best if they are active on social media to like end with a question, so that they are more likely to respond to me. So this is a good way to connect with people. You can also do it with new story watchers, new people that are commenting or liking on your post. So you're not like diving straight into an invite and being like, hey, do you want to hear more about like what I do in this opportunity? It's kind of like hey, I see you. Thank you for the love. Like, tell me a little bit more about you. I see you have kids. How old are they? Where are you from? How'd you find my account? Is there anything you'd like to see? Like, just talk how you would in real life. And if you're introverted, that's okay. There's a lot of very successful introverted coaches that have just learned through having conversations how to get better and grow in this area. You got to do to kind of learn. So we will take 10 minutes to start building some connections and relationships.
Thanks, Brooke.
Yeah, for sure. And then we got one more after this. So Okay, so sorry, I should like ease into this a little bit more. The last part we're gonna do is inviting. We will see how long I last because my baby just woke up, which is a little bit earlier than usual. Apparently, my mom came by and dropped off some random treats, and my kids are going crazy. So, gosh, Renee and Jody and Ashley, like you guys doing this homeschool mom thing. Gosh, you are amazing. I am like, take them back. We've all got our things we're good at, right? Like, oh my gosh, I all of a sudden it just got crazy loud up there. But before we wrap up, and I don't want to leave this, I actually did just send, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 invites while I was when we were doing the expanding part. I will send 3 more to make it 10. I just have to end on an even number. It's weird if I don't. So goal is about 3 to 5 a day. If you do batch invites, that's kind of what I do. I'll send a lot at once and then kind of have conversations, send a lot, have conversations, but average probably ends up being about 3 to 5 a day. Hopefully you have a list of people that you've connected with. This is makes it a lot easier. But also don't be too scared either and don't overthink it. Like if you like, especially if someone's been watching for a long time and I just keep seeing their name popping up, I often will be like, hey, I know we haven't connected directly yet, and I would love to talk more, but I've seen you and I was just curious if you were interested in my groups or any of the services I offer. Would you like me to send you some more information or would you like to hear more? And I will open that door versus like overthinking and being like, oh, we need to connect 6 times before I send an invite. Like sometimes if they're just there and they're watching or it's on your gut and your heart, like just send it, see what happens. And like Jody was saying earlier too, like you can talk to people that are within your network already that know you, that care about you, and just ask them. I often find that people are scared to ask the people that they are closest with first. Um, but it's a good way to really get your feet wet with having conversations and to just share what your vision is and what you're doing, especially if you're newer, to have those conversations and just invite them because you never know. Like my neighbor Phyllis that helped us with going 5-star and placing an order, I would have never known if I didn't ask her. And through the weeks she's actually brought up like, oh, you know that Sean T? And I'm like, yeah, he's actually like one of our trainers. And she's like, huh? Like never made the connection and was like, oh, that might be something I'm interested in doing again. Like, well, that never would have happened if I never would have talked to her about what I do in the beginning. So these are a couple sample invites that I have copied and pasted for you guys, kind of based on conversations. Yes, they all say, hey, girl. Please don't say, hey, girl. That's just like, I put their name. I will say, hi, Ashley. Hi, Samantha. Hey, whatever. But I've also said the wrong name before. So I put, hey, girl, just in case versus, hey, Samantha. And it's going to Tanya. Like, so that is just a template. But I try to be, connect as much as I can using their name, asking them about them, putting in a little piece, or if we had a conversation before saying like, how was your move recently? Like, do you feel settled in? And I was just getting some work done and I had to ask, like, go ahead and just invite, send it. And then you guys can be done with the day. That is like your work. You guys can literally do this in 10 minutes and enjoy everything else and know that you have moved your business forward today. So we'll go ahead, get going, and I'm going to set my timer and I'm going to see what my kids are doing real quick. Allie. Yeah, y'all say hi, Allie.
Hi, Allie.
Okay, that is the end. If you guys have any more work, one other thing that I did not add into this, but following up, super crucial with those kind of lingering conversations. I don't do it every day, but usually a couple days a week, I will make it a goal to clear out my inbox and just really go through some follow-ups to make sure people got my message. And to continue that conversation. Right now, I'm working on an email that I'm sending to my email list about our 8-week challenge too, to make sure I'm hitting all those people that are on my email list. Yeah, follow up, do those IPAs. Everything comes together, but I would say like I feel really accomplished after this. After I send this email, I am like done packing for vacation and I'm kind of clocking out for the day. Like you guys did some awesome work. Thank you so much for showing up. And I will pause this recording and post